Welcome to My Sewing Room's first ever studio live, presented and filmed before a live audience. Hello, live audience. Hi, Zoom audience. Don't know where you're at, but hi, Zoom audience. I am very happy that you are all able to come either Zooming or especially in store, seeing as the weather that we have right now. You take your life in your own hands when you hit those roads these days. But thank you for coming. I just want to say that this is kind of exciting for us because it's our first ever. It makes me a little nervous to see people smiling at me, but that's great. I'm glad you're smiling and not frowning, so that's good. I will be asking for a little bit of audience participation today. So I thought we could do a little practice. Are you ready? That's beautiful. Love that. Ready? Yeah. And of course, what I'll need you to do at the end. Perfect. Oh my God, you're a great audience. Thank you so much. That's awesome. All right. So let's just get started with today's subject. It's called English paper piecing. I did a little research because, of course, I've never completed an English paper piecing project before. So thought today would be a really good time to try that. So, sometimes on Wacky Wednesdays, I like to give you a little history. So I do have a bit of history on where these crazy things came from. So English paper piecing is a method of patchwork where the fabric is wrapped around a fabric shape. And it could be a thin cardboard, it could be paper, it can be hexes, it can be circles, it can be ovals, any kind of a paper shape. But once the shapes are wrapped and ready, the sewer then will sew the shapes together one at a time until you make a very large, intricate design. So the paper or cardboard is then removed once the shape has been sewn together. And it's an art for any of you people who would love to do hand sewing. I have found hand sewing is not my best thing, but it was really quite interesting, and I was very pleased with the way some of the things that I did yesterday in practice turned out. So that's great. So English paper piecing is a traditional quilting technique that's been around for centuries. It became popular in the 18th and 19th centuries in England. And the oldest known coverlet dates back to 1718. So it's been around a while. Now, the earliest hexagonal quilt dates back to 1807 in the States. The hexagon pattern originated in England during the 1700s and became popular in both Europe and US during the last quarter century of the 18th century, last quarter of the 18th century. The technique used was by the pioneer women who needed much bedding because they were making that journey. They were leaving England, coming across, going to be pioneer settler women. So they made their own bedding. So that's pretty cool. So it did start out as something that was really useful, practical, and now we've made it into an art. And some of the things they make are absolutely beautiful. So the practice came from England, but once a shape or block or rosette, they call them, or finished piece has been made, the papers are removed, leaving just the fabric behind. And they made this point very clearly. This is English paper piecing, EPP, not foundation paper piecing, which we will tackle on another show, which is done by your machine, which I have tried before, and I thought it's exquisite because those lines turn out perfectly. So, but this is English paper piecing, so we're not supposed to combine them or say that that's what it is. All right, so let me show you the tools that we're going to need today for our demonstration. So I want to stop for a second and just thank people. My helper, the button pushing person over here is Chelsea. Thank you very much. She got us up and running. Want to thank Tyler as well for his technical expertise to make sure we've got it right and gave me that laugh track. So those two people I owe a great deal to. So thank you very much. All right. So let me show you what we need. So Chelsea's going to give us an overhead. So these are the types of things we're going to need to get started. Okay. First of all, fabric. Now, this can be anything you would like to select, any colors, whatever you like. Cotton preferably, and cotton thread is what we'll get to. You need your shape. Sorry, took it out of the view. You need your shape. In this case, I know these are really, really large, 2 inches. But I thought for the sake of you being able to see me do it on screen, I thought I'd go large. But they do come in many different sizes. So you can check out they're from paper pieces. And these are the 2-inch hexagons. Really good. All right. The other thing, of course, we're going to need is that needle, because this is hand sewing. You can't see my little needle. There he is, my little needle. I don't recommend black thread unless you're doing really dark colors, but I'm using black today so you can see my stitches on the show. I've done a few shows where I've done the matched thread. You guys can't see anything, so black. But pick a thread color that will match to your fabrics. We also need a little pair of scissors to snip with. And then I like using these little Wonder Clips. They are really good. I don't have to use pins and stick resell. These work wonderful. Other things that we're going to need, because there's a couple of ways to do this. First off is you could just make scraps and cut them, or you can make templates. So I've got some template plastic. I'll show you how to make the template. I'll show you how to wrap it on just the shape itself. There's a couple of ways that we can solidify these with the clips, or I have a glue pen. So we're going to give those both a try today. So I've got a ruler, felt pin, bad scissors so that we can cut plastic, our good scissors so we can cut fabric, and our little snips. So if you're looking at these are the items that we're going to use today. So this is your checklist of things that you need to do. All right, back to the front there, Chelsea. Okay, I think I prematurely brought you back to the front, but that's okay because you know what? We're going to clear our little mat off while I'm talking to you, and we are going to make a template. Now, sorry, let me just slide everything that it is. Okay, back to the top, chips. Okay, so using the paper piece that you want to use, I selected a piece of template plastic that was bigger than it, and they recommended a 3/8 inch seam all the way around. So here we go with my precision. We're going to take this pen and we're just going to mark this shape on here. Ooh, shaky fingers. And then what we're going to do is try not to get felt pin all over yourself, is take your little ruler and add 3/8 of an inch, because we need to have a little seam that will fold over your template piece. So let's just measure 3/8 of an inch. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3. Geez, you could read, that would be great. It looks perfect. Is that perfect? My head out of the road. Anyways, everybody's getting the idea. We're just going to go around and make it perpendicular or parallel to the other line we've got, and we'll hook them up later because I'm so good at this. Nobody saw me stick my tongue out, did they? Oh, I should have hit the laugh button. Yeah, I know. Oh, just wait. I got a great joke coming up. Okay, perfect. Okay. I'm ready. Yeah, good. You know, they told me I was going to be doing this from 10:30 to noon, and I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to fill all that time with with blabber, but I can do it. I know I can. And it probably takes just that long. So I just did an outline, and now I'm going to take my scissors and cut that template. Just follow those lines, just keep it straight. As close to straight as possible. Our edges aren't going to really matter because they're going to be folded under. So if we're a little bit wonky on one side or the other, we're okay. But there's essentially what we're going to be building on fabric. All right, so here's my little block. What I found out was if you measured our little paper piece on these guys, it is 4 inches across. And if I'm adding the 3/8 on both sides, it's just a snicker over 5 inches. And I thought, ooh, charm packs are perfect. Already cut, don't have to do anything to them. And I just kind of center it in here. I'm using felt pen. Everybody okay with that? Just so everybody can see. I would normally not use a felt pen because it soaks through the fabric. I would use a wash away, and I do have one. I do have my wash away pen. So let me use that.
We can really see those first 2 lines.
Yeah, you can really see those first 2 lines. Yeah, the felt pen soaks right through the fabric. So probably not good on the fabric part.
It'll be good.
It will be hidden. So this to me is a very, other than I couldn't see the blue lines very well, but this is, this method takes a little more time and a little more precision, I would say. Just have to trim them blocks into the size. Maybe that felt pen was a good idea because you can't see the other lines on the camera, can you?
Place it on first, too.
Okay, so you good. Okay. All right. So there we have our little template. And then we just put our little paper pattern inside, and we can now just use those lovely wonder clips that I have every year. Fold that corner in and bring it down and just clip. Isn't this fun? It looks super fun. Right? Perfect. What do you think? Ooh. Yeah, they're good. They are a fabulous audience. All right, so that's one way, one method of making your blocks, using a piece of template plastic, tracing the shape of your paper pattern, then laying it on your fabric and trimming your fabric. You see that you get a pretty accurate edge all the way around. It's lovely. All right, so second way of doing, I talked to Leah, and Leah said, well, she says, I'm not that perfect, she says. I take my little templates, which I lost. And the second way that she did it, she just does that. I get the right side there. And she says, doesn't matter. Just fold it down. She is the one who loves the Wonder Clip method. But I'll show you one more method in a minute. But she likes this part. You don't have to worry about making it fancy. Just make the fabric larger than whatever shape it is that you're doing so that you got yourself a large enough seam to go around. Either way, it works for wrapping your fabric around your paper pattern. Ready? They're so good at you. All right, so that's a really quick method. One other method I want to show you before we go and start sewing is, and I already cut out a little piece. I just want to show you. I've laid it out. I traced the pattern inside and then actually measured 3/8 of an inch around. So you can do it without a piece of template plastic as well. You can just do this, trace this onto your fabric, and then add your 3/8 inch. But this time we're going to put this in. We are going to use the glue pen method. And we have several glue pens that will work really well. This is a Fons Importer, but we also have the Soline. I was going to also try that new 505 stick because I thought that would be really cool. So just going to apply a little bit and fold. Apply a little bit and fold.
I did not.
Which method is your favorite, NMP?
I actually like the precision of where you use your template and cut it to be just about perfect all the way around. I'm not as, it doesn't appeal to my mathematical side to see stuff that isn't quite right. I think the glue pen is the fastest, I think, but then you got to go keep buying glue pens because I don't know how many of these you're going to make, right? So you need to have lots of glue pen available. But ready? I love this audience. Thank you. So that is another way to do it, just glued into place. Sorry, I forget which camera I'm on all the time. Glued into place. Right. So those are those two. 3 different ways to make this happen. All right. Can we go back to front again, Chelsea? She's so fast. She's so wonderful. Okay, so the next part is where we come into, we're going to start sewing some of these together. First, so this one is really cool. But let's try this guy because I like him. We are now going to get a needle and thread. And as I say, I did this in really dark so you could see what I'm about to do. I have to tell you that I did a little looking. I went on that internet, YouTube my little heart out, and I found a lady who did this so simply, just a basic thing. I just loved her stitch, and I thought, that is amazing. All right, so let's go to close-up. Okay? Do I have to come right over here? Oh. Okay. Oh. Hang on. Well, I'm rolling away. Okay, here we go. Close-up. So I'm just going to thread my needle, which takes me half an hour because, you can't see anymore. And we're just going to put a little knot at the end. I think I have way more thread than I need. I think I'll just cut a little bit off. Very generous. Yeah, that was a very generous amount. Okay. Just going to tie it. This is where I would normally lick my fingers. Hey, I got an idea. I got a cup of water. And then you don't have to see me lick my finger on screen. Just a little bit. Just like to have a little bit, and that sticks. I find my hands are so dry. Hi over there. Can't see me over the screen. Okay, so I've got a little knot in there now. This lady was really cool. So she got her little paper template all wrapped up, and then she started at one of the corners, and she just picked up both sides of the fabric and just stuck it. Well, maybe we should back the camera up just a tad bit.
I can do that.
Okay. I'll just stop right now.
I'm just going to switch it to first so I don't make anyone motion sick.
Okay. Hi. Oh, this might be a good time for the joke while we're resetting the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is Leah joke. And Leah says she doesn't tell jokes very often, but this is one of the best ones I've heard from her. This is great. Koi fish always travel in groups of 4. If attacked, koi A, B, and C will scatter, leaving behind the decoy. We'll have to thank Miss Leah for that one. That's been a really good joke. All right. So we have, that's better. Okay. So this lady did a really cool thing. She left her tag out here. She put thread behind there. Then she came to the next corner and just picked up the two pieces. Did this. And if I can learn how to do this, I'm sure everybody can. Then you just take your little clip off, pull that thread forward. So you'll see it now is a nice straight line across there holding the two corners together. So flip it behind your little wonder clip. Stick it through the edge. Try not to get it hooked on your clip. Try not to knot. You see, it really was too generous. A piece of thread was technical difficulty. Then there's just sometimes too much thread, and then you put a knot in it. Okay, that's lovely, isn't it? What happens if I just... Should we just cut it off? Yep. Stick it. Because that was a little bit of a naughty mess. Naughty mess. Okay, so let me just... Now I have a new knot at the end of my string. It's still attached. Let's keep going this way. Boy, that's a big knot.
Sandy, would you like you to move the camera?
I think so, because I keep moving my arms. Sorry, guys, I keep moving my arms. Go where you're comfortable. And then try and let it come back to it. Okay, so we're back to this corner again. Have a nice new knot, which I didn't expect, but I got now. So we'll put that over there, and we'll just keep going around. Try not to keep knotting them up. So we don't have too much thread. All right behind. Let's get the corner. Down nicely. Okay, I suppose there's people who are much faster at this. These are just like basting. Some people will baste right through the paper, but Leah said she doesn't like to baste through the paper because she likes to remove the paper and use it again. I think that's a really wise use of resources, to tell you the truth. And so I'm just going to restitch that one corner that I kind of wrecked. So I'm just going to keep going. Because it doesn't take much to get this big, ugly black thread out of there. You just snip it and it's gone. Redo this last corner because it's kind of come. Okay. One more corner, you guys will be so thankful I'm done on our business. There we go. Back to say where we started. Okay, perfect. And now we just need to make a tiny little knot in it, just so that the thread doesn't come on. Thread through. Oh. There we go. All right, and then trim. Okay, this is going to hold together. I'm going to just cut off some of the oddball stuff I got shanking around here, because we don't need that parting. I broke that thread, so. How did you manage to get yourself wrapped around that? You know, if it can happen, it will. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so now we have it temporarily sewn into place. Beautiful. Oh, I think that deserves that. Oh,
It didn't show numbers.
I did one of those. Okay, there we go. That's what it did. Okay, they're so wonderful. Okay, now taking these guys, and I have this one already taped. I'm going to show you what we do next. How's that? Okay. So now I would actually wait until you have 7 of these done, because 7 is what it takes to make the rosetta. A rosette, I guess it's called. And then you could line up your fabric in however direction you want. But I'll show you how this lady did it. And it was so brilliant. I don't know who she was. I wish I could give credit because it didn't write down the site. All right, back to our little camera. Oh, Chelsea.
It's jump for freedom. Jump for freedom.
It says didn't want to be stitched into place. That's our thread. Probably took too much again. Have this thread issue. I just love it. Thank heavens we took a big enough needle we can see the eye is all I can say. This time I'm not actually going to knot it. This lady had a real good trick. So you line up your 2 edges, right sides together. Then you actually just come in through both sides, right at the corner. And then as you get to the end of your thread, leave a little tail like that. And you're going to lie it through the line that you're about to sew. And that way, as you stitch over that and it holds in place. You don't have to knot it, which is brilliant. I thought. I really enjoyed her presentation. So now with everyone staring at leaking little stitches, I'm so good at this. And you just make little stitches back and forth. Make them as close together as you like. Make them as far apart as you like. But if you make them too far apart, you're going to have holes. So keep them fairly close together. And as you go, you keep that end of the thread down the middle. Takes a little while. Thank you. You know, this is, people say, oh, they love hand sewing and stuff because they can watch TV at the same time. I don't know anybody that can watch that. Like, I can't. No. Do you know how many times I'd stick this needle through my finger? So we'll just keep going until we have that all stitched in. Okay. Gee, I wish I had another joke, but you know, all I can say is do you know what happens to quilters when they die?
What happens, Daddy?
They go to pieces. I know. Seriousness. You know, when I'm trying to serious sew, I can't tell jokes very well, but they're fun. I feel like I might be puncturing the paper and going with the paper, but that's okay. Paper can have nibbles on it if you're going to reuse it. So how long do we need to watch me do this? I suppose for a while. But actually in focus, can anybody actually see what I'm like? Yep. Okay, good. All right. Do we have any comments from the Zoom people? Okay, no comments from Zoom people. I'm hoping that they're enjoying it. And live audience, anything you want to say at this moment, or we're all good? Everybody's understanding my craziness here? Okay, good. Okay, we're going to be here forever sewing. So do you want to just hang on tight? Circ. That's just a little whip stitch. Yeah, that's just a little whip stitch. And I've just gone from one to the other nice and tight all the way along here. This is one that I created earlier, just sewing the method. And then look at this when you open it up. How perfect is that? It's absolutely gorgeous. But I would say do all 7 of these, whatever colors you're doing, or make a whole bunch of them before you lay them out. Okay, so let's go to the main camera overhead, if you don't mind. Overhead camera. The reason I say that is because you end up with all of these pieces, but then you've got to figure out how they go together. So I was thinking, if if my blue one was my center, then I might stick a red one or a brown one and a green one and a green one and a red one and a yellow one. But I wouldn't know that until I got to the end with all my colors. Now, this was just a cute little charm pack. It was a Christmas style charm pack. Of course, that only allowed me so many of each color. So I'm kind of limited, but I thought that I would not sew my rosette together until I figured out what my color palette was going to be and how many that I was going to need and that sort of stuff, and then sew them together at the end. So you could have a bag full of these and then lay them out at the end and figure out where you want them to be. So that case, I stitched here. I would then stitch this one and then stitch across here and here and here and here and here and here and here. And so then they're all one big rosetta. All right. That's my demonstration. So I hope you liked it. And thank you, Gary. Thank you. Now, we had a few questions earlier about the fabric that's behind me. And I've now given it to, who did I give it to? Lynn? No, Tracy. I give it to Tracy. This is a new line of fabric that just came in, and we're going to do a close-up of it. Okay. This is called, oh, we didn't do that. It's upside down, but that's lovely. This is called Unicorn Meadow. And let me turn it this way. Maybe that will be easier for us to see the unicorns in the meadows and the beautiful colors and the creams and stuff. And the very light, very nice, very springy. Be really nice for spring bags. Last Wednesday, on Wacky Wednesday, we did a little bitty bag that she made and pulled together with scraps. This probably make a nice lining for that bitty bag and some of these others. So now I need a camera on the front, please. So these other ones would make great little pieces. But this is the whole line, and it's absolutely adorable. Summertime is coming, I promise. It will be here soon, spring. Not, did you look out there today and decide, look at the panel. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me bring that down as I knock everything over. All right, let's keep close up. See if we can get, there's a really sweet white unicorn. Lovely. Here's a gorgeous blue one. So sweet. They have a white one with a purple mane. And then we have, I'm sorry, my covering says, and we have another white one with a pink mane. Very, very sweet, very little girl-like. Just absolutely adorable. Okay, so that was what we're going to give to Tracy because she wants to take back home. Oh, she is. Oh, gosh, boom. All right. Now, any questions at all about the technique for English paper piecing? I know there's lots of YouTube videos out there that you could probably find. I just thought this one was the quickest, clearest way of doing it. And of course, the thread color will not be black unless you're doing black things, but make it whatever color matches your fabric. All right, I think that's everything for now. Oh, I got a question. How do you get the paper out? Now, they told me that what you do was you just find a pair of scissors. I think we need up top, if you don't mind. Okay. We just clip the little thread out of here. Now, assuming that this is all sewn in tall, there's 7 of them, right? And you just pull out your basting thread. Out comes the fabric. Now, I'm just assuming that that is all sewn together because I just unsewed it. But yeah, it just pulls out. And let me, can we just leave that here? I'm going to pass this around for you guys to feel some of these guys. It's kind of shocking. It is already shocking, but it is going to pass a step of paper. I'm sorry. I need to come back and clarify that. The question was, how did I get the paper out of there? Well, I just trimmed off whatever your basting stitch was, and the paper just pops out. And of course, you don't do that before it's all sewn into all of them are sewn all sides, right? Then you can pull it out. The paper is not very heavy. I would say it's not quite, there's different weights of cardstock. I would say this is just a little bit heavier than regular copy paper. But if, and I think it's just for ease of handling, because if you make it too thick, you can't get your needle through if you're the one that's basting. I saw a demonstration where they actually took this, like this now, and they actually basted all around this way. So it went right through the paper. And I thought, well, then you got holes in your paper every time you do it. I thought her method was great, where you just nip the corners, and then when you're done, it just pops out. So, and leaves your thing ready to go. But it's easier to sew with a little bit of stiffness in there. So sew them all together before you take your cardboards off. Any other questions? Yes.
Would just so
it did not recommend it, but you know what? It probably wouldn't hurt. She asked if we should do our best press on our fabric prior to doing our stitching. And it might help, because then it would be crisper and it would lay flatter. You might even too, if you wanted to do quick iron, you could probably iron that down a little bit too. And that way it would lay a little flatter as you're working with it, and it would stay in that shape longer. Very good questions. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So anybody else with a question or a thought?
comment on Zoom there.
I have a comment on Zoom. Billy, thank you for the demo today. Well, you're very welcome, Billy. And I really enjoyed this. Actually, it was quite an interesting experience learning how to do this. And it obviously worked out all right, because I laid these out last night on the dining room table and showed my son. He said, well, that's really cool. So I'm thinking, if he thinks it's a real cool thing, yay, because he thought my biddy bag that I was making was an old lady bag. So we got the younger generation. They were a little bit happy. Anyways, that's wonderful. Any other comments or questions for today? All right. Well, I would like to give you guys all a standing ovation. Thank you for coming today. That was absolutely wonderful. And I hope that we can do this again another day. But before I leave, may I just say that this is going to replay live, not live. This will be replayed later. But on Monday, we have an Easter week of embroidery and stabilizer. So on Monday, I'm actually doing Cutaway Monday. Ooh, I'm going to be cut up on Monday. And on Wednesday, for Lucky Wednesday, we'll be back for Wash Away Wednesday. So if you can join me on Monday at 4:15 and Wednesday at 4:15, we're going to do some fun Facebook and YouTube shows. All right. Thank you, Anna.